Good morning, fellow students, distinguished colleagues. My name is Alex Holder, and today I'm here to retrieve your support for the proposition, resolve, the United States government adjust current policies regarding H-1B visa holders. Basically, let me first define what H-1B visa is. H-1B visas allow foreigners to live and work in the United States. To obtain an H-1B visa, you must have a college equivalent education. You must be sponsored by a company, which means you need to have a job already set up for you before you can even apply. Once you have applied, you must come unaccompanied. You can only stay for 3 years with an additional 3-year extension. And if you quit or lose your job, you have to go directly back to the country that you came from. And last year, the Department of Homeland Security issued 130,000 of these H-1B visas. Contention 1. The current H-1B visa system causes significant harm to the U.S. labor force. Subcontention A. The current system displaces current and potential American workers with foreign workers. So for this, I have two pieces of evidence that I'd like to present. First, studies have shown that there is not a shortage of qualified job seekers, but in fact a shortage of jobs. In 2007, Lou Dobbs, a journalist for CNN, on November 13, 2007, discussed studies done by the Urban Institute, Duke University, Harvard University, the Rand Corporation, and Alfred P. Sloan Foundation, all of which determined that in fact there was not a shortage of qualified people, but in fact a shortage of jobs. Unfortunately, what few jobs there are being taken by foreigners, and many of these foreigners are coming over on the H-1B visa. My second piece of evidence is a current case study of individual named Jay Palmer, who is a principal consultant at the global Indian-based company Infosys. Currently, he is the center of a whistleblowing case over immigration fraud, and specifically H-1B visa fraud. On April 12, 2012, in an interview on CBS, he said, quote, "Large numbers of employees had initially come to work for Infosys on the H-1B visa program. When asked, did you find that they were all people who had been who had some special expertise that you could not find here in the United States?" Palmer replied, "Absolutely not even close. There was not a project or program which we did that we did not have to remove someone because they did not know what they were doing." So basically what's happening is companies are bringing in people who have no clue any more than your least qualified person in America for this position, and they're hiring them because they work for less money. And what this does is further displace the U.S. labor force. Before I finish this section, I'm going to offer you two statistics from the Bureau of Labor. Unemployment rates today are at 8.1%. Back when I gave you the examples from Lou Dobbs' studies that he addressed, it was at 4.6%. Also, today, college graduates unemployment is at 9.7%. In 2007, it was at 5.4%. Again, this shows the relevance to several years ago, and with the Jay Palmer case, it shows also that there is still a huge problem going on with displacing of U.S. workers with foreign workers, and like I said, further harming the U.S. labor force. Subcontention B, the current H-1B visa system is harmful to the economy. Now, what I mean by this is that companies are profiting off of cheap labor, and money that should be going into our economy is not happening. Again, I have two pieces of evidence. The first one I'd like to address is Jay Palmer, again with CBS interview. When he was asked about what he thought the motives for Infosys doing this corruption was, he says it was purely for profit. He goes on to say that Indian workers on his team were paid substantially less than Americans who would have had the same job and made more money. So again, this is hurting the economy because it's taking away money that should be going into U.S. Americans' pockets at a fair rate, and they're hiring foreign workers for less money with obviously less, oftentimes less competency because it increases their profit. But this hurts the economy as well. My second example begins with a question. Why do two of the world's largest companies, Microsoft and Infosys, ranking number 1 and number 9 on H-1B visas applications, cited through the Department of Labor, advocate so strongly for H-1B visas? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Bill Gates, an individual who has been charged with monopolizing plenty of companies, said in 2008 at a Senate Judiciary hearing, quote, "There needs to be an infinite number of H-1B visas." The answer is clear. Big business seeks to maximize profit margins. To do that, they hire foreign workers to work for less money than American workers. This leads me to my final point about why this is harming the economy. By having a system in place that limits, with limited incentives for individuals to stay, specifically not having their families around, not being able to have their families here, not being able to make any extra money through businesses that they start here, and by having a short-term system of only 3 years with a 6-year cap, H-1B visa holders are saving their money instead of spending it here. They're sending it home to their families in the country that they came from. When their visas run out, they're going back home. They're creating businesses back home using the knowledge that they've gained here, or they're going back to work for companies where they're from, taking again the knowledge that they've received through their work here, and they're disrupting the fair wages of the Americans who should be making equal pay to them both here and abroad. Subcontention 2: the system is inherently flawed. For this, I have 2 subcontentions. Subcontention A is temporary by nature, 3 years with a 6-year cap. And then subcontention B, it does not promote citizenship. Like I said, so families can't come with them, and so they have no support from their families. There's no entrepreneurship options, so there's no reason that they should, there's no businesses holding them down. There's no families holding them down, and there's no guarantee that after the 6 years is up that they're going to get citizenship. Therefore, I find that the system is inherently flawed, and adjustments must be made. Now, how do I plan to meet this need? And how do I plan to make adjustments to H-1B visa? For my plan meets need, my plan will curb corporate corruption by adding penalties for corporations and an easier transition to citizenship through an incentive-based system. And what I mean by this are 5 crucial adjustments. Stricter monitoring of H-1B visa holders to ensure that those who are here legally and are paying taxes. Equal pay for equal work, so that companies are making sure that they're paying their foreign workers at equal pay to the American workers, and if not, penalties will be assessed to the company. Immediate family can accompany H-1B visa holders after 3 years. This leads to a more supportive family structure, leading to them to stay here in America instead of going back to their countries and further hurting the labor force and the economy. Entrepreneurship after 3 years, which means that after 3 years they can make their own business here in America, which will strengthen their ties to America again, and benefit the economy through job creations, and them spending their money back into the economy. And finally, 5, fast track citizenship after 6 years, guaranteeing them that after 6 years they'll be able to stay in America and that they won't get deported or have to find some other visa program. So all this together puts money back into the U.S. economy, adds to the potential to create jobs, decreases abuse through companies because of penalties assessed to them, overall strengthens the U.S. economy and the labor force through economic and aptitudinal equality. Thank you for your time and attention. Please support my resolution to adopt much-needed adjustments to the H-1B visa system.